Hey guys. So I was asked recently, actually in a couple of different places, um, to talk a little bit about how I make my theory videos. And considering that I've been really pressed for time lately, I may do a vlog about why at some point, but it's not really important right now. Um, Considering I have been so pressed for time, I decided that I would go ahead and do that. I would put together a really quick video for you guys, just kind of laying out a framework of how I put these videos together, and taking you guys through my process, which is going to be really weird because I don't know anyone else who has a creative process quite like mine, if you could even call it a creative process. To begin with, first of all, I really enjoy editing images. I really enjoy editing video, so I tend to do that kind of stuff as early in the process as I can. For example, I'll bring up my desktop here, which is really, really crappy. Over here, you'll see I have all these different images. And if I bring up this, you can see this is my list of upcoming theories as I kind of have them laid out in their rough order, my theories and analyses. And it's going to be a couple of spoilers there for you guys, but no, it's not that big a deal. This is always changing. I'm always editing the order of this, especially when there are new episodes coming out regularly as they are now. For example, I did go ahead and watch the leaks of Barnmates and Hit the Diamond, and after watching Hit the Diamond, I do have an idea for another theory that I'm planning on kind of sticking in either right before this or right after this. I'm not really sure. That I'm gonna have fun with, I think. But yeah, I also, all these images over here roughly correspond to what I've got here. These are the covers that I use as my thumbnail images for upcoming theories. I have found that putting together the image that I want to represent the video actually helps me kind of consolidate what I want the theme of the video to actually be before I actually write it out. And the way I'm able to do that is I don't write the first draft of anything I ever write on paper or type it out. I kind of work it out in the back of my mind how I want to handle things. When I'm writing an action piece, I work out action scenarios first in my head as I'm doing other things. When I'm considering a theory, I work out in my head what I want the main ideas of that theory to be. And if I decide on any details that absolutely have to be in the video, I will leave myself a note either through text message or just on paper. I've got notepads around the house. Then I type up a draft, usually in my Google Docs. And even then, that draft is not going to be what ends up in the video. I'm going to add stuff. I'm going to cut stuff out, possibly even as I'm recording the audio for the video. Every once in a while, I'll think, this doesn't actually work as well as I thought it would, and I just don't do it. Or I will think of something else that I want to say, and I'll kind of wing it. Which, if there's ever a segment in one of my videos where I don't actually sound like I planned out what I was going to say, that's why. And I will also change the phrasing of things to sound more conversational isn't actually the word. What I'm trying to get across is that the way we use words and phrases in conversation, and even when we're giving like speeches or presenting information to people, isn't always consistent with the actual rules of grammar. Sometimes saying something grammatically correct just sounds odd, so I will correct for that when I'm actually talking it out. But it is before I write that final draft that I go through and I make some of these covers, and it helps me determine what I want the main theme, the main direction of the theory to actually be. Then as I am typing it out, I'll work out roughly what clips I want to go with which passages, because I do get all of the information that I use in these theories, for the most part, from things that I pick out of clips in the show, obviously. So I already have a rough idea in my head which clips I want to use where, but it's during the actual process of writing the draft that I'll decide, for the most part, what clips I definitely want to go with each passage of what I'm saying. And then, of course, I have other clips and other like little graphics and images that I pulled off the internet that I use in various situations. When I'm questioning something, when I'm trying to convey that something's confusing, I'll use different graphics. And when I am going on explaining an idea but there's no actual correlating clip, I'll tend to use a clip of Pearl being all brainy or Peridot Perry-splaining something, which is something that I got really lax with doing for a while, but I liked where I used it in my videos so much I went back to doing it again. And I record my audio. You can see down here I've got this little HUD open. This is my Camtasia, let me double check, Camtasia Recorder 8, which comes with Camtasia Studio 8. And it's not the most complicated video capture device. Camtasia Video Editor isn't the most comprehensive video editing device, but I like them fine. And what's really cool about it is if I were to hit the stop button right now on this recording, it would bring up a preview of the raw recording, and then I can automatically save it to a Camtasia file, and then it will open automatically in Camtasia Studio 8. They work together automatically, and I absolutely love that. Even though I am planning on upgrading to Adobe Premiere, is that what it's called? At some point. It's pretty expensive though, and I don't make a lot of money. I will also, if there are any screen caps that I want to associate specifically with a particular theory, I will also put them over here with the cover, just before I forget to mention that. And then I get to editing. I will cut out little bits where I hesitate or I do a take that I don't like. Consolidate everything down as much as absolutely possible. Try to enhance the flow of what I'm saying. Rearrange entire passages if I feel like the flow would be better that way. And then I'll go back and re-record anything I need that I don't think turned out well enough the first time through. Go in there, insert it in the correct place, and then I'll overlay my background, which is the gem temple, obviously, over the whole thing, and I'll save it as a draft. It's just me talking with the gem temple sitting there in the middle of the screen. I'll then take that back into Camtasia Studio 8, and I'll add in the clips that I want to use or the graphics that I want to use. It's not a very complicated process. I'll admit that outright. There's probably a lot more that I could do to improve it. It's what I'm familiar with. It's what I'm comfortable with. And I am going to start playing around with other slightly tweaked formats eventually, but as of right now, I think they're good enough. I think the quality is good enough. I'm happy with the way they turn out each week. I hope you guys are too, and I hope that this video was satisfactory to you guys, that you got something out of it. Real quick, while I have a second, I will open up Camtasia Studio 8 and show you guys the interface. It's not perfect. You have all your clips up here, your clip library, which there's little banners and stuff I could be using that I never actually use, different themes I could be using that I never actually use. I should probably look into those at some point. I never use callouts. I'll use pan and zoom every so often. Audio I tweak a lot. A lot. Transitions I love playing around with, and then I never use cursor effects. I always switch this one to visual properties, which lets me add shadows behind things or whatever. Don't use that except in my review videos typically, but this is the layout I like, so I always do that, even if I'm not planning on using anything in here. And as per usual, it has layers. It has a slider along here and another slider along here that let you control where you are in your timeline. Like I said, it's not that complicated. It's pretty straightforward as far as video editors go, but I like it. And once again, right up here, you can see, because they are tied together, the screen capture software and the video editing software, I can go right up here and I have some recording options right here from the video editor. I can click this record the screen button and it'll bring up this thing down here if it's not already open. And then I just come up here and I save often, because this uses a lot of RAM space. But I'll save often, and then I will typically, once I'm done with whatever draft I'm currently editing, I will close this. I will save it and then close it, then open it again, let it reload everything again, and then I will come up here. I will hit produce and share, and I can't because there's nothing actually here, but it'll bring up different file size options. There's an option that lets you optimize it for YouTube. I never use that. I typically just go with something basic like set it to 720p and then just let it render. And that's really it. It's, again, very simple, but it's effective. If anyone is interested in Camtasia Studio, if I'm not mistaken, they still offer a 30-day free trial. And then it's somewhere around, I want to say $70 or $80 to buy the editor and the video capture software all together once your trial runs out. And it's good. It's better than Windows Movie Maker, at least. It's, again, not as good as something like Adobe Premiere, but it is still a good, solid video editor if it is something that you guys are interested in. I'm not going to take you step by step through the process of actually editing one of these together, because that takes hours and hours. But that's the gist of how I do this. For those of you who are interested, reviews should start up more regularly again very, very soon. I should be having, that's good English. I should start having more available time to make reviews. My Yu-Gi-Oh! Reviews should return soon. And I do have something special for you guys planned. I'm not sure when it's going to be up, but I took a trip to my favorite zoo recently with a couple members of my family. Got some cool footage of the animals. I do plan to cut that together for you guys. So look forward to that too. All of that said, guys, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.